Grand Rising, my kin nation. And for those who are new, I welcome you to the kin nation, my kindred spirits. Now, let's get into this. So, when does your past stop being an excuse for your present problems? I asked myself that lately. Hold on just a second. What's my topic? Well, actually, my topic is, when does your past stop being an excuse for your present problems? My immediate answer is when you realize and ready to heal.
So when is your past problem done being an excuse?
Yeah, when does your past stop being an excuse for your present problems? And some of the talking points, and this is how I do it. I have talking points. I always write down my talking points so I can remember what to talk about at each portion or section of the video once I'm done speaking on it. So the first talking point is growing up. The second talking point are influences while growing up. Then the third talking point is when you come to a turning point. And then, of course, time in my life, I go through reflecting or reflections, and then realizing my readiness to change. After that, sometimes in between that, you're remembering things in your life, trying to remember things in your life. And then, of course, you go through these feelings, and then you're ready. You're ready for adulting, because just because you're in your 20s, sometimes people are still considered young because you didn't get that knowledge of adulting when you were much younger. And then you have more memories, triggers, you experience a trauma, and then you really get on the road towards healing. And then you go through reflecting and more memories, and then feeling sorry and deeply apologetic. And then once you get to that, this is me. These are my stages. This is why I wrote these talking points down. So for me growing up, and you can be as honest as you want, because I am recording. And this is more like my video journal. So growing up, I had some thoughts this week. I had been thinking a lot, and a lot of my thinking was that absent father that was never in my life. And I never got a lot of support in anything I did. It was, if I wanted support, I always had to ask and beg, and I still didn't get it as much as I wanted. And not to say that my grandmother was neglectful, but my grandmother was busy trying to take care of the house, doing her wifely duties. And a lot of times she couldn't leave the house to come to my school and show a lot of support, because she had other grandchildren or children that she was taking care of. She had my aunt's children that she was taking care of. And my grandmother being much older, she didn't feel like dragging children up to the school to support me in things I wanted to do. So yeah, with that being said, and just to let my audience know, the person that's on the phone is my eldest son. How old are you, Greg? Okay. All right. So he's 34, and I let him say your age. I let him tell y'all his age because I tend to forget. I tend to forget my children's age because it's five of them. But so I can say my son here has been a very intricate part in my life, and with me trying to when growing up, learning to be a mom. My beginnings of being a mom, and I have to say, with him, when I gave birth to him, I was there, but I wasn't there in the very beginning, because in the very beginning, even though, I was nursing my son, I needed help because I wanted to finish school. And his grandmother on his father's side encouraged me to finish school. So she was willing to help take care of my son while I finished school. And I only had about, because I had him in March, and I was in my last year in high school. So I had March, April, May. I had only 3 more months to go. And after those 3 months, I wanted to be a mom. I wanted my child because I loved my child and I wanted to be in my child's life. Even though I knew, well, I didn't know, but I thought I had it together and was ready to be a mom. And I only felt that way because I gave birth to him. Like, if I gave birth to this child, I should be ready to be a mother. Um, Honestly, I felt alone. I felt pain, emotional pain, because I had a baby with someone who didn't want to be with me. After well, actually, once I got pregnant, and you just started to grow inside of me, my body and my looks started to change, and he didn't find me appealing. And I could just tell by the looks in his eyes, he looked at me and just thought I looked gross. Yeah, it's messed up, but say that again. Yeah, because also at the same time, it was, hold on, what is that noise? Because I'm recording and I want to be able to capture you clear on the video. Yeah, I can hear, but it's something else, sound like a chopping noise. Oh, okay. Is it possible you can move away from the washing machine so I can hear you clear instead of get all that noise? Okay. So audience, please, fam, kin folks, kindred spirits, yeah, bear with us with this noise in the background. I don't usually like to bring family into onto this platform because my personal life is very personal. And I'm not going to go too deep into my personal life because I feel like I have that right to my personal life, and I don't want to bring my children too much into this because I feel like whatever differences we have, I don't like bringing it to the internet. I like resolving it one-on-one with my children and not exposing my life like that because and it's I don't want to say it's exposing, but it's bringing situations into the public that we can privately resolve on our own. It doesn't need other people's inputs or eyes and ears. But I just since he called me in the middle of me getting ready to film, I just felt, well, why not? Since he's the oldest son, he's going through his healing. Why not include him in the healing? Because, he has been with me for 34 years, or let me just say he has known me for 34 years of his life. And, I have been through a lot with him, and he has been through a lot with me. But yet, we're not going to get too detailed about our lives. What we want to do is just kind of tap on some of the surface things to help get us through certain things. So if you don't mind, just give just a brief summary of your growing up. So I gave a brief summary of my growing up and what it was like. I didn't want to get too detailed because, I feel like, the audience that we're talking to, I don't find that there are a lot of doctors sitting out watching this video. And if there are any doctors, I didn't ask your input. Sorry, but sorry, doctors out there, but you're just watching this. And if I'm not asking for your help. Like I said, this is more like my video journal towards my healing. So go ahead, my son.
Growing up, I came across a lot of find like people, maybe because not that I'm empathetic, but prophetic. I'm a true seeker and a true giver. And I fight hard for that more so nowadays. But in that same breath, as a child, I was also sneaky. I was a decent liar, or let's say the gift of gab was my gift and curse. So growing up, let's just say due to environment, regardless of how great I was trying to be, there was, some trials and tribulations from, as a child to now that I'm a man, and now that I'm a man, I'm a parent. So even as my mother said, you would feel like as a parent you could do it as soon as you have the kid, oh yeah, I got this, I know what's up. But as time prevails, that honestly, there's no handbook to this, man. not every kid is the same. And that
Yeah.
includes
And and I want to also just to affirm and confirm to you, I know you felt like the black sheep or the black goat in the family, but what you don't realize from my eyes, I always felt like you were the one I had to keep a strong hand on, or keep my eyes on, to really keep close, like you needed more attention than the others. So I guess you may have felt like my attention was drawn, was taken somewhere else. It had nothing to do with who my whether I had a favorite child, because I didn't have any favorites. I felt like all of y'all were my favorites, but I know growing up, y'all felt differently. So um what I'm going to say, our next talking point, now that we've gotten past the growing up, what it was like for both of us growing up, me being your mom and telling you a little bit of some surface information about me growing up, and you giving me your surface information about how you grew up. Now let's talk about some influences. So some of the influences, like I've already stated, I didn't have much support coming up. I didn't have a father figure. So this time in my life, looking back, I never knew what it was like to have a father, because I never knew him. I never heard his voice, never seen his face. I asked questions and got very short answers, I guess, just to help satisfy me for the moment. So um so as a female, even having male influences in my life or someone to guide me, I didn't have much of that either. And I'll say this: I had an uncle, may he rest in peace, who was gay, but he was really trying to be more like a nurturer to me and doing what little he could do, but he could only do so much, because I later realized at the time that he was trying to do much for me. He was in high school himself, and an aunt who was trying to help take care of me while my grandmother, so it was my that uncle and my aunt, they were young. My aunt was probably in middle school or high school herself, trying to help babysit and take care of me while my grandparents were working. So and other influences in my life was just basically what I saw in my environment. So I grew up partially for 7 years in a 2-bedroom apartment with maybe, let me see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, about 12 people living in a 2-bedroom flat apartment in the city, downtown Atlanta. So yeah, I'm from the South. So these are the influences I had growing up, as well as, some experiences I've had at school. And I've always treated places that I didn't lay my head at, no matter whether it was school or work. I did not try to open up too much to those influences, because I just felt like those was always temporary situation for me.
I can understand that. Well, I didn't even know Uncle Serge was one of your influences.
Actually, he wasn't. The person I was talking about, may he rest in peace now, was my uncle. He was gay. He was in high school. My Uncle Farris was off and gone into the Navy and into the military or the Air Force or something like that. he was a little bit of an influence. My aunts and uncles were, but they didn't live in the house. So my uncle, that uncle that you spoke of was not in the house consistently. So I was only speaking about the ones like that uncle who passed away when he was in his 30s, and my aunt. They were both school age.
Right.
Yeah, they were school age. Whereas the other uncle you spoke of, he was off in the military, and he was back and forth from time to time to visit up until he came out of the military.
Okay. Well, if we're matching answers on the questions of who are our influences, I can honestly say, I'm not even gonna lie to you. Nobody in my family really was influenced, but I can say that it had a lot to do with my upbringing, more than values. So, family members, if I have to be more in detail, family members help me more with my morals and values. You know what I'm saying? And as far as influences, there was nobody in my household that has influenced me to be or what I am or how I see myself now. To be honest, it was more so the world that had an influence on me. And it's like as the world or as I grew into the world,
Mm-hmm.
pieces of the world will influence me in different ways. I can be influenced this year to want to be Martin Luther King and try to be as peaceful as possible based on how the world is acting or responding, you know, or maybe because at this point I can't save the world, I just want to make the world happy these days. So maybe I want to, you know, do some acting or music or, you know, make people laugh, you know, try to, you know, I'm not gonna tell a comedian, but you know, that's what influenced me, watching the world. But as far as saying morals and values and principles, that all came from our family. Like, you know, we have in our family, not to even really expand on it too hard, but in this family, we are very sharp with our tongue in this family, you know, and it's just who we are. You know, if you're not in this family, you will probably think we all hated each other, but it's not that at all. You know, with this family, you'll probably be quick to learn how to survive. Your emotions will be conditioned. It may not be the best, but it will be conditioned for survival. You will learn a different understanding of love and perception. You will become clarified in a sense. You know what I'm saying? You'll be able to see things differently with this family. So that right there to go, you know, briefly on, you know, so I did give like two different analysis on what I think was influence to me from whether it's family or world. So
Well,
yeah, that's that.
yeah. Well, so with that being said, you know, yeah, my family were um like what you're saying as far as morals. I did have other influences. Like I said, like, you know, going to school and even televisions, certain people I looked up to from, it was mostly music. I can't really too much say television, watching TV, but there were musical influences and stuff like that that inspired me. But otherwise, yeah, yeah, I get that. Now, so what I'm getting to now is my turning point. When was my turning point? I can't say let me not say I had so many turning points, but I had some turning points in my life. And I'm not going to go back to my childhood because, like I said, there are just certain personal things I don't feel like I need to speak on publicly on this platform. But there was a turning point when I turned 29, when I started to realize something is changing in me. I was becoming more aware of me. things that I was doing before I turned 29, I started to realize, that's not the way I go. And the reason why I'm saying is because before I turned 29, I used to think, when I was able to move out of my grandparents' home, there was some desires I wanted to fulfill. But I didn't fulfill them right away because I was doing some soul searching after I graduated high school. But the real soul searching, or the desire to really go deeper into, is when I turned 29. I felt something, not only in my heart, but in my mind, like something was shifting. And I'm speaking of that turning point because I just started to realize after my birthday this month, today is December 11th, so I had a birthday recently, and I felt the shift again. So I had a turning point at 29. I believe I had a turning point at 42. And then I had a turning point at 49. And even though I'm not at that 7-year point from 49, I feel like something else is shifting in me, and it's been shifting since I was 49. And today, I was years old when I felt it again, like today, yesterday, and today. And it's causing me to shift for the better. At 29, it was causing me to, it's time to grow up at 29. It's time to really pay attention to, you got to really take care of these children. You got to really get into a career. You got to focus on your finances. You got to better your life, kind of thing. You got to stop doing the things you desire to do. Now those things, it's time to put them away. And that was playtime. Even though I had children before 29, there was just still a part of me that wanted to be free. Even though I still had responsibility, there was a part of me that was trying to organize time so I can be free. Then when I reached 29, I realized I had to accept and start to enjoy parenting and learn from what I'm going through as a parent. Start to more pay attention to my parenting. And all along, ever since I became a parent, I've always deep down in my heart wanted to be a better parent than what I saw growing up and what I've experienced. But it was so hard to institute that into my life when I don't know no examples of how to be, except for what I've seen on television. And I didn't really want to get into television programming because for me, I didn't really know. I had some doubt about television. I didn't think it was real. So those were some of my turning points. And like I stated, I'm going through it again. Started yesterday and me thinking more. And here I am speaking on it today, making a video journal about it today. And I think this is good. So that way I can just kind of go back and reflect later on in life, this turning point that I'm at today. And I'm only speaking on surface information because once this video is off, I'm going to be doing a lot of reflecting because I'm still going through the turning point. I haven't fully, it's like I'm coming out of a cocoon or something. Yes, yes.
Well, I can reflect on my turning point. it was more than one, but it was some of the things.
Mm-hmm.
The first turning point must have been the moment I became conscious in that room, because I know I was more than just like 3 or 4 years old at this point. Like I don't know the exact age I became conscious, but that was probably my turning point to become conscious. So I could remember that. I just don't remember the day. My second turning point that I could possibly recall, I like to stick with what was vividly affected me. I think it was when I started with the like the school system, and I grew out of it. I think I was like 18, 19 or something, maybe 20, and I started realizing like how like I don't mind having friends or associates, but I really just don't like people, you know. So with the whole social thing, it's a love-hate relationship, because the type of person I am, I love my music, I love acting, I love, you know, saying, conversing with other people with like intellect or that type of, you know, to bring to the conversation, you know, because not a lot of people left in the world that really are critical thinkers or that can take a conversation beyond the trend. And let me say that again, there's not many people in the world left that can use critical thinking that will take a conversation beyond the trend, because now even being awoke is a trend. So again, the social, what would you call it? Took a turning point, right? So I became less social as the years. It don't mean I stopped talking to people, but it's just I became less social. You know, I started realizing, you know, I had to become furthermore into myself some type of way. Like, you know, maybe I was learning to love myself. I didn't have the exact definition of where I was supposed to be going on these turning points or missions. But let's say further down, the next turning point became when I became a parent. And just as my mother said earlier in the conversation, is, you know, there's no handbook to this, man. So, you know, that'll, you know, life will wear and tear on you if you allow it, especially, you know, it's like going through training. It's like going through training. So it's like training. When you're training as a martial artist or a boxer, you know, first thing they're gonna tell you, you need to be in shape. So even in exercising, before you get stronger, you actually get weaker. You know what I'm saying? And that's a known fact, because when you're lifting weights, your muscles tear. Okay, I'm not gonna go too much into that, but so again, the next turning point was as a parent. Now, to say more so on a spiritual level, because I know that's what we're really, you know, trying to tap into and get the audience to more so, you know, what's the word? Become coherent to what we're saying, or to even understand what we're saying, or to relate to what we're saying. I started really becoming a man in my later 20s, because I can honestly say if it is a fact or not, maybe it's to each his own, but I was a very slow learner because I had a very big heart, and life started finally, you know what I'm saying, you know, hit me with the gut check, like, my nigga, is you not listening? Like, life will have its own way of beating your ass, excuse my language, to get you to finally either stand up and fight or walk away and walk into your purpose. So I can say I've had like those moments right there, those turning points probably happened more often in the last 10 years, because as I recall, and just being honest, not trying to get too personal, but I remember me and you, you know, me and my mother, we had a falling out for a few years, but it wasn't permanent. It was my fault. I was, you know, again, blinded by the wears and tears of life, to where it took me a minute to, one, just to be honest with y'all, you know, because I know some people love a little drama, but one, I had to recover from my depression. I was going through a state of experimenting with a lot of substances, and I had to learn to see and accept the feelings, because while growing or going through the turning point, waking up again, it's like waking up. You ever if anyone seen the movie Inception, how they had it was in real life, and then what they would do to make certain other deals or whatnot or other missions, they would go into a dream, and then that dream can help you go into another dream. So it's like waking up from a wake up type stuff. So that's what I'm saying. I understand. You know, so the one mother said she was talking about the cocoon, even in that form. What was before the cocoon? It was the caterpillar.
Yeah.
And after the cocoon came a butterfly. So there are stages. You know, the game of life is always going to be a, you know, stages, levels, plateaus. So what I'm getting at is to say is through these turning points that you were saying again, or these spiritual turning points that affect you and had me realize, all right, now it's time for me to see it this way. It's time for me to, it's just a few of those. So, but those turning points were where I had my turning points, just to share that with you.
Yeah, and just to piggyback off what you were saying, especially about, you know, the things that we have been through as a mom and a son. Yeah, like I said, as I stated in the beginning, there's so many things I don't want to bring to the internet because I feel like we can get through those things offline privately as far as when it comes to my family. But yeah, and him bringing that up is to just let you know that, you know, especially in this world, you know, there was a time where we as a family thought we was just dysfunctional and thought we were the only dysfunctional family probably that existed in Georgia. You know what I'm saying? And not really fully realizing that so many people have their own dysfunctions, but you do have those who try to hide it, and then you have those who don't even realize they have a dysfunction, or some people who just come to accept it and just live with their dysfunctions instead of trying to heal it. And I am so grateful and thankful that me and my son were able to get back on talking points, because even though he was going through his thing, I was going through mine. And you know, I look at it as when you become an adult and you do things that are adult-like, you know, as parents, we're not obligated to hold our children's hands, but we do it because, you know, out of love. And especially if they are able to get the lessons, because even during our time of separation and not speaking, me in my head and in my heart, I realized as a parent that he has to go and learn and see for himself. And if it's meant for him to grow within what he went through or what we went through, he had to grow and see for himself where he was wrong. I had to grow and see it in myself where I was wrong. But as that mom, I just felt like, okay, he has to grow. He has to realize and learn on his own. He has to walk his own path. So if he do come back and apologize, you know, there were days where I was like, I don't know. If he come back next week, no, If he come back the month, that's too soon. You need time to really piece things together and really see yourself. And I think it was probably like 3 years, maybe 4 years. He came and he apologized. And I was so happy because I had started to miss him. I had started missing these conversations that we would have, where he would try to reach out for help. And I got to say, not all the time that when he would reach out for help that, you know, I could help him, because sometimes I was like kind of confused. There were just something like he said, you know, children don't come with instructions, and he's not a child anymore. He's a man. So I can't say he's my child. This is my young man now. You know, he's not young. He's 34.
I feel good for my age. It's like we not on FaceTime.
I'm gonna put a picture on it, or you can send me a picture of you so that people could see, because I know some people are gonna be like, well, who this son with this son look like? Because I really, again, I don't even like sharing what my family look like. You know what I'm saying? Out of just safety.
Just off of real quick. Then you confirm, well, I wasn't born to this world, and my mother was born into the world from very handsome, son of a gun, right? You know, I didn't want to say that.
So, so yeah, we've come a long way. Me and all of my children. So I was mostly a single mom, and it was based on not having that guidance and my grandparents raising me. And I also have to say that, a lot of people who go through things, who've done things immaturely when they're young, since with a sincere heart of really wanting the best for themselves, sometimes they don't get the best. So that's why I feel like for people out there, you shouldn't judge people too quickly, because you don't know where people, you don't know the journey that they had to walk, and that their path, or the path that they had to walk through, and where they come from. So not everybody is meant to be judged harshly, because they may not have had the guidance. And that's another thing I want to bring up. When we talk about the movie Inception, the spell, the dysfunction, it goes deep. You think you waking up just to realize you in a dream, then you wake up again, still in a dream. And you wondering, when are you going to come out of this dream? And when are you going to fully wake up to realize and get it together? And so,
almost like levels of consciousness.
Yes, because the spell is deep. If you do our ancestral, or just the research, and just doing the research on the things being exposed in this world, and other worlds haven't existed, and it goes back to the beginning of times when the spell began. So you have a spell upon a spell upon a spell, and the deep is like how deep the people are, so unconscious to who they truly are. Me and my son here are being testimonies. We're giving testimonies of what we are doing on our path to heal. And it starts with just recognizing or realizing, you got a pure heart, you mean well, but life can come at you so many different kind of ways. And
let me interject right there.
Yeah.
Life can, let me say it in the modern ways, because she's speaking to y'all of the, let's say we're going to call all of our ancestors, or all of our elders, y'all are the masters. Where when we speak to y'all are probably sleeping masters. But I'm going to say it in the form of a student master. All right? I'm being tested as well, because have you ever heard this? To those who watching, and to you, my mom, have y'all ever heard this saying? Somebody said this to me, and it's clicking with me to say why and how life can do this to you. You ever heard the phrase or the saying, same person, different body?
Yes.
So let's expand on that, and why I say this, how life can come at you in different forms as you're being tested, because you'll sit there, like me personally, not to get too personal, but let's say I've had a falling out with my son's mother, right? Mm-hmm. And funny thing is, not to be funny, but the funny thing is, she's a Sagittarius, just like my mother. But I think life was trying to test me, because even in that time, remember, like you said, we had a falling out, but I also fell out with Chantel, because I have a temper. You know what I'm saying? I know I have this temper. I have a very bad problem with not trying to humble myself in the moment of trial or tribulation.
You mean your son? You mean your son's mother, right?
Yeah, my son's mother.
Okay.
But I'm being funny to show you how life can test you in many forms. Because I remember, if I had to call it, and to be honest with the world and you, the first time I failed my test, or my turning point, or growth point, where I should have found finally got the message. I failed the first time with my mother. And as she said, not to get too personal, but these are reasons why when, mothers kick the bird out the nest, you don't want the bird to get the nest for a while. Like, listen, man, if you think you can fly, you better fly this sucker. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
But I failed the first time. So let's say that energy that I was supposed to have had or that I had failed, it had transferred into another person. Or for this particular test, as I was having my own family or trying to start my own family because I couldn't get it right with my family that I came from. Now, it was just a lesson as we're growing, but I still failed. So with my son's mother, I also failed with her. Now, here it is now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm also speaking in real time, that I'm with another woman that I love, and right now I'm in the same classroom. Let's say that I'm in the same classroom learning to pass this test again. And I think the test, as life is trying to show me, stop being so temperamental. Learn to get in touch with my mother calls it the feminine side. I'm gonna just say soft for us fellas, man, because I just don't like the word. I'm still trying to grow up and be mature and just use the word. But I'm sorry, I'm not that mature, ladies and gentlemen. But life is.
But you are. But hold on. Let me interrupt. You are maturing. You are maturing. You are mature in a lot of ways because you have learned from your past. So, and you're still maturing because I'm still maturing. We're all continue, is all growth. But go ahead.
But basically, in that same breath, though, if anyone can see from a deeper perspective, I know my mother does, but that's to show you right there that those are three females, three different people, but the energy in the test or the mission was always the same. Even when the test of having a child, like he said, she's had 5 of us. And to be honest with you, again, there's no handbook to nothing that you do in life. So, but the only thing you could do, like he said, if you had a genuine heart, like me right now, knowing that I come from being so temperamental or always being hot-headed and things like that, I've always been tested outside, in my home, and it may not be intentional. If to some of those who's very religious, they say the devil is working. It may not just be the devil, because even the devil could be a test if you want to be very, Christian-like or religious, if you're very religious, so I was just piggybacking off of that, saying that life does you in many ways, and it can also be the same test over and over again. It may not exactly be, today I'm not having a good day with my mom, and then tomorrow, I can't pay the rent, but it's going to be different tests. And to be honest with you, that one test can affect your whole life. Like when they say you have a blessing, but hindering yourself from walking in your purpose to that blessing, and let's just say all of a sudden, you was a singer and you stopped using that blessing that people found so much, to love out of you.
Mm-hmm.
Away from you too, and the occurrence is that say, listen, all of a sudden you got laryngitis or something. I think that's like a throat cancer or something.
Mm-hmm.
Don't quote me. I can test you, and if your heart is pure and you have a good mindset, you're really trying to grow, with real and sincere intention. Yes. Then you will have to be tested. You will have to break that dome above you to go to your next level.
And with that being said, because he done got into the other talking points, which was reflecting, readiness to change, and remembering and dealing with feelings and adulting. So you don't cover reflecting, readiness to change, remembering feelings, and adulting. I said adulting. I used the word adulting, like recognizing it's time to be an adult. So with that being said, from him going into those talking points, I have to, I do a lot of reflecting, and I think back on the things that I have done, and I try to ask myself, was that the best thing to do? And sometimes I even will seek input from other people I'm close to, or people that I know that may have been through similar experiences, someone older than myself. So
also remember not to just be blabbing. Make sure these are people that you find close in your life, because what you said, explaining can X your plans out. Even trying to grow, they can cross your growth out. So make sure you're talking, if you're getting advice or you're trying to see if other people can relate to your situation, make sure they're very, very close. So go ahead.
Yeah, because see, and that's a good point that he made, because in my past, I was opening up to any and everyone because I was just desperate for help, because I wanted to be a better mom. I wanted to be, I wanted my life to be better, because I foresaw something earlier on in my life that, I had potential, but then there was just part of me that just did not know what to do, which way to go, and how to get started. So if you don't make sure, if you don't make sure the people you're opening up to have your back, those same people will use what they know that you don't open up to them about, and they will spread your business. And I've had that to happen to me, where I was sincerely open up looking for help, and the main people would stab me in the back with those people I opened up to, who would go back and tell my business to make me out to be a bad person. That's why be careful of people who come to you gossiping about other people, because those are the ones you need to stay clear of, the ones who's talking about somebody else that come to you.
Those people who are listening to this, again, I'm sorry for interjecting, this is your show, but I just want to reiterate that one more time for those who are in the younger form. Basically, be careful who always comes to you when you're in your time of need, because even in your time of need, it's almost like a curse. They say the devil can even bless you. You see, you got to watch what kind of blessings. Even the devil can bless you, because let's say all you ever wanted was a home, a family, and just to be making a couple dollars. The devil can bless you with that for sure. And guess what that's going to cost you? A stagnated state of mind, a stagnated lifestyle. The moment you're ready to grow, he'll take it away from you. So again, even outside of that, watch who comes to you in your time of need.
Yes. So also, you have to have a readiness to change. It's like I said earlier, you have to really be sincere. You may be, I've always noticed with my son here, he's always had a loving heart, smiling, just showing love and everything. But sometimes when it's like handling a very fragile piece of glass. You got to be careful. You have to be very careful with people's hearts, because it can be very fragile, and you have to be careful with what it gets exposed to. And me being a single mom, and still and trying to provide and wanting to also pursue her dreams as a single mom, sometimes you make a mistake not knowing better. Your children get left in the wrong hands, and it becomes a fragile situation. So the readiness to change, it has to be sincere. And that's why I say with my son, he's very sincere, even though he may have felt in the past, he may have been hard-headed. I've been hard-headed. So I think sometimes, you get to a point where you rebel, and you want to experiment on your own and see where life take you. But again, when you do the reflecting and the remembering, and really checking yourself, at some point in your life, you be like, it's time for a change. And even though you can admit it's time for a change, are you ready to change?
Yeah.
Because
even just say it. I feel it coming off of your tongue. Say it.
yeah, because just because you say you can see you need to change, the stuff you got to go through in order to change may be
work of a lifestyle.
Yes. And
you know, I want to say something funny. Like, that can pertain real quick. I just want to level it out to reality because
yeah, go ahead.
I'm not myself if I don't do this. But I relate to that so much because change. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I could say this: change could always be for the better, or change could be for the worse. Because you could have been in your rightful shoes. You just being greedy now. But I could say I relate to that so much based on a worldly level. Like, prime example, I remember there was a time in life where I was making so much money. I was working at overnight for Jimco. If anyone knows what Jimco is, you can relate. But let's just say them checks was like 1,000 or something better weekly. Now the people who coming from the hood, the projects, that sounds like perfect money, right? Now, in the same breath, I'm sitting here working this job, doing good. I'm not complaining. Everything is actually perfect at this point. I got me a nice little room I'm renting out. I'm saving up a lot of money. Women everywhere. Clothes looking good. My family back. I'm doing great. But for some strange reason, that unsatisfaction in my heart, like either I'm being greedy or just something was missing, hit me again. And I wanted to change. So what happened? I go from making $1,000 a week. I lost my job. Everything that I worked so hard for was stripped of me. I ended up moving back to New York where it was cold. And now here it is, I'm working at Family Dollar. Now here's the kicker. All this time I've ever walked into any Family Dollar, right? You ever walked into a store like, y'all can do this. This is nothing. You know what? Let me go for it. But then when you get in it, like you said, you ready to change, right? You said you wanted to change. Your ancestors heard you say that. Your angels heard you say that sincerely. Now it's time to push forward. And guess what happened? I'm over here complaining. I'm complaining at Family Dollar. I wish it was Negro Dollar. Okay? I'm sick of these Family Dollars now, man. I don't want to put up another peanut butter bread cereal, nothing. I don't want to do no cash sharing, counting money, nothing. But in that same breath, what she's basically saying is, you really have to be ready for it to change, because change could be the next level in your training.
Yes.
And for the good or the bad. And even if it is good, it may look bad because what they say is always chaos before the rain or the sunshine. It's always a storm before the sun. That's what they say. It's always a storm before the sunshine.
And again, like some spiritual gurus, so-called spiritual gurus, make you think that when you're practicing spirituality, is all is all what's the word, heaven, and is peaceful and is good. But for real, when you're going through your spiritual ascension, it can be some heartache, some heartbreaks. It can be like what he said, if you really ready to change, you're gonna go through it. The things that you thought you could get before, to making $1,000 a week to making $500 a week. You know what I'm saying? Are you really ready? Because it can be some ups and some downs. It can be it can be some self-sabotaging and some self-realization to some pain. It's all of that. You got all kinds of what is it? confusions and feelings and ups and down emotions, tidal waves going on inside. So just be aware. Just be. Go ahead.
I was saying negative conflict can occur from any angle, from family to loved one. It can come through your children. You just have to be ready. It's the same energy over and over as well. You gotta remember. You have to remember that, because even I'm struggling at this moment. You know, trying to perfect the way I approach the situation, or instead of reacting to a situation, let the situation come at me, or let it go right past me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
saying? Learning to control your environment by having control over yourself, basically.
Yeah, there you go.
That's controlling your thoughts, controlling your emotions, because sometimes, when you get the thought, you get to thinking, and if it's something that pisses you off, it makes you emotional to the point where you want to react or act on it. And it's all about control. And with that control is having an understanding why not to allow your thoughts to control. Not to, how should I say it? Not to allow the wrong thoughts to enter, to give you a bad feeling, to make you want to act. But think it through before you even act. Like, okay, hold on. Let me step back and think about this. So that also is involving adulting, knowing when to make the moves, knowing when where to work, a good environment, making better choices on what you're doing in life. So when I speak of adulting, a lot of people have said adulting is hard, paying bills and all of this, but it's also planning. You come to learn to plan. That's why I used to tell my children, before you start having a family and having children, consider the financial status. Can you take care of them? Make sure to be able to do things for them. You got to plan this stuff out. And it may not have worked that way, because like I said, sometimes you become hard-headed, you rebel because you want to do it your way. And you think, and sometimes our heart lead us instead of the logical side of us leading us. Instead of planning it out, we just jump into things.
Now, I also have to tap in one more time on right there to say, now, to those who's really listening to this right now, I want to say again, Mom or Daddy or Waladati, for those who know us as a family, us personally, and you're watching this. I want to tell a lot of you right now that whether you know it or not, you've already beaten the game. The only difference about the game that is causing you to feel like you're still losing is because you're still trying to play the game. See, right now, you got to look at what I'm trying to say. When you're playing the game, you have no time to reflect. You have no time to, be in tune to your conscience or what you're going to feel in the moment. So to tell you how did you beat the game, because even I'm still learning that I just beat the game, is because we're starting to observe the game. Stop playing the game and observe it. Reflect, really reflect. Really sit back after a while, because you know who your, for the parent, you know who your kids are. You already know what they're gonna do. So now observe and just be prepared for the whatever you have to do to give them their lessons, or when you're trying to teach. You don't have to always every 10 seconds. Hey, don't get out that toilet. You don't have to do that. Just wait, observe them, watch them. You don't have to worry about getting mad at the people at the job no more, because you know exactly what it is. It's just a job. You're going to get a check. Those people are temporary. You control the moment that you're in that moment.
And just
you don't have to work. Yeah, go ahead.
and just to piggyback on what you're saying, it's like the game of chess. Once you master the game of chess and you're sitting there with another player, you don't see yourself as a player no more because you already know the moves to win the game. So basically, you're really pushing those pegs, those pieces around to really test the player, because now you're no longer playing the game, you're testing the other player to see how they're going to move. You're just really observing them and the choices that they're making. You're no longer emotionally involved in the game. You know, your mind isn't, your thoughts isn't caught up in the game, because your thoughts now have no control over how you feel, and you're not reacting to every little move or wrong move you think you or they are making, because you feel like even if you make a wrong move, you're making the wrong move on purpose to really see the player, how the player is playing, because you've mastered the game.
Right.
You know, so it's like he said, you're, like my son said, you're mostly observing, and you're even though you're observing now, you're even trying to think of better ways to make the game more fun for yourself.
If anything, that's exactly what you're doing.
Yes, and you're creating, you get to the point where you try to create moves of your own, to the point where you're willing to create a whole new game that you have made up. So now this is when your creativity comes in. Huh?
You just subliminally call or tell the viewers that they are also creative?
They are the creators. You have to become the creator of your own game, to the point where you're in control of your world. You're calling the shots. You're no longer interested in watching other players and you beat them at chess. You've mastered all the games to the point where now you're coming up with new creations to better, not even better the game, but to make the world or to make life more realistic, and to tap into certain creative powers. So now that's bringing us to more memories. So with the more memories that you that you conjure up, or I don't want to say conjure, let me rephrase that. With the more memories, certain memories starts to come back to you. Things that you think you have forgotten, those memories are coming forward, so that basically we don't have to even stay on this subject much. Those memories are coming forward to help you remember those memories, to heal them and move forward. So you're going to start to get more memories. Wow. And some of these memories can be triggering. But go ahead. Go ahead. No, so I was just basically going to say that these memories come up, they surface, forgotten, what we call forgotten memories. And why they're forgotten is because at the moment in your past that you was dealing with the situation, instead of dealing with the situation, you subconsciously buried them. So now you're at a point where you're ready to heal, ready for change. You're remembering, you're feeling, and you're trying to do the adulting. You're becoming a master. Now those memories that you pushed back, they're now surfacing. So now you're getting triggered. What's the next step, you say? And what you were about to say?
One second.
Okay, go ahead.
So that's crazy how I paused this time, but okay. No, what I was gonna say was, and to make not to make this your channel more relatable, but for the people who may have known me or who are just relating to this, who use their everyday life to relate to things. the thing you were just saying about how past memories or your past life memories may start to trigger as if you're remembering something that probably didn't even happen in this time of life. I just want to relate to those people who watch a little bit of anime because sometimes, one second, sometimes, sometimes it'll come in different forms of factors of what are triggering you. But I wanted to say for those who watch anime, it's a cartoon. It's a show that I was watching because I also noticed that the world will tell you in so many different ways because of certain circumstances. They'll give you secrets or hints to your book, show, library. Again, you know, now I was watching a show called The Seven Deadly Sins, right? And each sin, of course, is exactly what it is, you know. But there was a situation in the show that caught my attention where this young lady who was considered one of the angels, all right, and this angel-like lady or being in the show, the cartoon, she was, I guess, had a situation where she was woken again, like whatever her past abilities or memories were, it was reawakened in her. But you know, in the show, it was showing like how she was able to pretty much adapt her past abilities with what she knows now. You know, because like you ever had somebody ask you, "If now if you had those powers now, where would you do?" And you know, all the regular people in the world would be, "Boy, listen, boy, if I had the power of invisibility, I'd go rob the bank." You know what I'm saying? Hey, listen, what? Hey, why are you? What? Well, shoot, if you had your ability of super strength, what would you do, man? I would beat up all the bullies that ever bullied me. You know what I'm saying? They'll say something off the wall. So now to think about that, what were those? Let's say some of y'all who do remember your past lives. All right. Now, done with the cartoon, I'm just going to say this. It's just a question. No one has to answer it right now. But let's say you start to remember your past life. For me, for example, I'm not even going to lie. I like to think of myself in my past life as Set, you know, the Took, or the ancient Egyptian deity, you know, known as Set or Set, right? Now, when I looked up Set, I feel this dude. I like, even though I thought I was, you know, like a bigger person, I related to Seth. I'm like, yo, he had a temper. He crazy. I like, he got fire. You know what I'm saying? He burning people to death. If you mess with him, I like him, yeah. So if I had that ability today, and people disrespecting me today, before I became conscious, you know, what would I do now? Would I still burn them people alive? Or would I take that ability and use it for the greater good and not for selfish reasons? That's what I'm getting at right there because, you know, like you said, those past memories or basically you're reawakening or you're coming out of your cocoon.
Yes. And certain things around you are triggering those things that you subconsciously held back. Or like you said, even past lives, certain things are triggering on in this life that's helping you to remember past life situations. So so then from the triggers, the little triggers that you get, sometimes you meet someone, person or place or thing that can traumatize you. And with that trauma comes the true awakening. Because now you've been so traumatized to the point where you're dealing with all kinds of feelings and thoughts. And these could be thoughts of death, thoughts of how can you escape this world because something has happened in your life that's so traumatizing. Not realizing that sometimes these traumas can lead to death, but sometimes that trauma can lead to a symbolic death, meaning an awakening, a real awakening to your authentic self to help you to even grow more for you. And with that trauma is just awakening you to the things that you've kept repeating, to the point where it had to, the things that you kept repeating in your life came to a culmination where something happened to traumatize it, to make you realize you got to stop repeating these patterns. Now, are you ready for change? Because this trauma has come into your life to bring about a greater change in you, to start a true healing in your life.
Right.
And that's when you're on the road towards healing.
So now I'm asking you, Mother, you know, with that being said, you know, are you afraid of death now when you're killing off your worldly programming? Because maybe that's what it is, hypothetically speaking. Are you afraid of killing your first programming of this world? Are you afraid of not being what you were programmed to be when you watch those commercials and you see everybody rocking a Cuban link chain? Now you want a Cuban link chain because you were programmed to think like that. When everybody started living in mansions, before we even knew what a mansion was, because we came from the apartment. You know, when I seen that dude with a mansion, I wanted a mansion. But when all the actuality, I probably do want me a nice little 3-story house with just my family or enough for the family. Are you ready to kill your first program?
And that is so deep, because I did a self-reading this morning that in the reading stated that, you know, when it comes to dealing with myself, knowing something about myself, it's as if I experience anxiety, even though it's to the point where you don't want to self-sabotage. You know, you got into this point, of trauma where you've become comfortable now, you're peaceful because now you have made the change, you're healing. But then when it's time to step through that door to your achievement, to achieve even higher things and to go into a different life, there comes anxiety. So I experience anxiety. But am I ready, really ready? Yes, I'm really ready. But right now, yeah, I'm dealing with anxiety because I've gotten comfortable with so much pain.
And you're right. That word comfort is going to be really our downfall, because like what you just said, like I'm hearing it, and now how you're expressing it with this tone is like, what you just said to me is like, okay, I am ready for, okay, let's say there's a dome over us mentally. Yeah, I'm ready to crack that dome. I'm ready to experience past the firmament, right?
Yeah.
But because I've never seen no one else do it, or I haven't grown up around it, you know, I'm literally over here probably experiencing that anxiety of, you know, even if it's safe to do it, and like maybe am I the first one to do it? Like, will I be okay? Do I know the rules and regulations past the firmament? Like, what if I gain these abilities and I can't control it? Or like, I get it. So it's like a nerve. It's more so an extreme nervous.
And also, too, what I deal with is taking that step through. It's like, let's say dealing with fame and fortune. I really, it's like what the lady said, I don't really want to be answering to nobody. I don't want to be people pleasing, because people have expectations to me. Expectations of me. But what I'm coming to realize, something that I really have to contemplate on, is I still can have control over my life. I don't have to answer to nobody, because my path, my journey has always been, I wanted to be free. I don't want to answer to nobody. And I still got to keep that in mind. Even with my anxiety is that I've been dealing with, and taking that step forward, is dealing with people in my business, people trying to dictate and tell me what to do with my life, all because now everybody is watching me. I don't care if everybody is watching me. This is still my life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that is what I have to come to That's what I have to face, is really, really telling myself, I really do not still have to answer to nobody. It's just what I've seen other people do. I've seen other people feel like they had to answer to other people. And because the world is so judgmental and people will delve into your past thinking that, oh, you're still that person in the past. When for real, you come to see that these people who are judging you about your past has not gotten past their past. For them to not have awakened to something better in life and truly realize that the person you're looking at is not that person that you done researched and went and found some files on, thinking, oh, that's who that person is. And if you have run into a person who is still living in their past, that's because that person hasn't healed. Now that you dealing with some people who are healing before they reach their what they call success or achievements, then yeah, I'm that person who is looking at people like, don't judge me because you really don't know me.
Right.
Things that you have found about my past. Oh, this Anita used to do this in her past. You haven't even given me a chance. You're judging me on something that you don't even know who the new me is.
Guess you don't know me then.
Exactly. So again, you know, I'm at that point where I'm at the door. The door has opened, or the firmament has cracked open, and I'm standing on the ladder. I done cracked it open. I'm well, I don't want to say I'm standing on a ladder, but I'm floating up near that crack opening in the firmament, and I'm looking down like, dang, I'm about to leave. Dang, this is what this is what I've been used to, and I'm about to go through the firmament.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So here comes more reflecting and more memories. And am I feeling sorry and deeply apologetic? Can I now walk? Can I now go through the firmament? So it's like basically right now I'm taking a moment to reflect on more memories and really feel my feelings and feel all of those I've done wrong. Am I really deeply sorry and apologetic so I can just release the guilt and move on?
Yeah, I feel that totally, because I don't like, I need, and you know, I've said this to you, I do not like authority. Like, and for some strange reason, it's probably like a new way of living on this, you know, platform of living, you know, life, you know, earth. But in that same breath, I've always had that need for growth, that I yearn to want more, you know. So it's like, you're right. Am I feeling any type of guilt for wanting to pass just the firmament? Like, maybe is this the only form I'm supposed to maintain, this flesh? Like, is this all there is to life? Like, no matter, even if I did go experience Dubai, Russia, China, all right, yeah, they may use a knife, but they knife look different. You know, they may eat, but they eat different. Yeah, they may turn up in the club, but they drink look different. They probably got an alligator tail in it. But regardless of the same, it's the same everywhere you go. It's gonna be good or bad everywhere you go. So am I really apologizing for just wanting to go past knowing the knowledge of good and evil? Because at this point, I feel like I've experienced good and bad, and I'm kind of just done with it. So
but you know what that brings it to is feeling free to be me, to recognize the God within me, not in a narcissistic manner, because a lot of people feel like, they think they God now. No, I don't think I'm God. I know God is in me. The source of all is in me and all living beings. And now I don't have to pray to nothing or no one. but the God in me. So when I close my eyes, I pray to the God within.
Right.
And now I am truly free. I recognize good and evil, knowing good and evil, because I know what's good for me and what's bad for me, because we're all different.
Right.
And with that being said, I'm gonna let you go ahead and give your closing statements and motivation and inspiration, and then I'm gonna close it out.
Not a problem. Again, I'm the other son, the last born first. So I was the, what I'm saying, first one.
You know what? I wanted to hear your comment on what I just stated. You was about to say something.
I was going towards that same thing. Like it was just saying that, like, I feel like I was basically relating to what you were saying, because it was like, I never really liked an authority, which is probably why I grew up so harsh in the household, being so rebellious. You know what I'm saying? Just the officers and things like that. And in character, this may have been a clue to breaking the firmament, like you said. You know what I'm saying? Like, to the state of mind of it, the firmament state of mind is what I'm gonna call it. You know what I'm saying? You got the dome over you. They give you a limitation. You know what I'm saying? So when it's time to break past your limit, almost as if being a free slave, they telling you you are only bound to this here plantation, or whatever the phrase or state of mind you want to put yourself into. Are you ready to break those shackles? Are you ready to go above the firmament? And it's like, because they tell you there's nothing more to Earth or above the firmament more than just space and planets and stars, but I'm starting to think that even in that breath, like, who's to say that we can't exist past this, or there's this, is this like, who's to say the firmament may not even necessarily, if you didn't use it right, it could be a portal. Like, I don't know, I'm just saying there's so much more, so I'm tired of, like, listening to people telling me what this may be when I'm listening to all the clues myself. Like, myself is helping me get to a certain, yeah, you need guys. Yeah, you need people to, sometimes hold your hand in the beginning of the baby or whatever, but now that we're in this form, myself has told me, like, all right, bro, you done heard a million stories, and 9 times out of 10, it's a programming. You have to find who's the person that's not an NPC, who is actually living in this flesh, and not just, a non-playable character. Now that you have this information, the person who is actually themselves sharing this information with you, this is why I also say that being woke is a trend. It's to cover up what we are supposed to be doing, waking up, breaking past the programming, kill the programming off, because it's obviously not meant for our well-being. And that's for the general, purposes, and to tell that to the general masses as well. But, and the close office to say is, once again, if you're ready for change, you shouldn't feel good about it. You shouldn't feel bad about it. It should feel like it's about to be it should feel like being born again, to be honest. You get a clean slate. But you have to be ready, because you wasn't ready when you came in this world as a baby. You didn't know squat nearly nothing. To be honest, not about this world.
Yeah.
You probably was watching from the other side, thinking, man, look at these folks, man, this was easy. If I was in there, I would probably, same way you do with a job. Now, if I would have worked if I did lawn care, it'd be easy. I can cut grass all day long until it gets cold.
Yeah, and that's with that being said, as far as wanting to rebel and wanting to do your own thing, not wanting to adhere to authority, is mainly you had to realize, hold on, let me humble myself and learn this human thing or this well, I don't want to say human thing, but learn what it's like being in this dimension and wearing this bodysuit And then coming into an awareness, like it feels as if we're shifting into multi-dimensions because so much is being revealed and exposed that they have kept us from learning or experiencing based on their programming. So now it's come a time that, you know, certain people are readying themselves, doing things to allow themselves to be exposed to certain truth, or what we say, going down that rabbit hole. And with that being said, I'm going to end it right there, and we can go further down the rabbit hole if you like. Please leave a comment, some questions, and I will leave my contact information if you want to give your input on a DM me level. You're also able to do that. And please don't forget to like, hit that notification bell, and subscribe.
Share and comment. Like, share, and comment. Do not be afraid to push those buttons.
All right. Thank you, my son. All right, I'm ending it now. Hold on just a second. Hi, my name is AnitaYarbrough, and I am your holistic healing life coach and counselor. I bring to you today my signature programs based on healing transformations that align purpose. My first signature program, self-authentication based healing. This paradigm shifting and transformative based program is designed to share life experiences due to the changing times we're in to assert your self-authenticating willpower. In this program, you will learn the importance of healing to help lead the way towards understanding a new age mindset that promotes creative holistic living for unlocking your purpose. Transform and align with your purpose in any area you choose. Within these changing times, by trying a new approach to tasks and or activities to gain courage and confidence. Feel free to accept the changes in the world and experience the new, real you without judgment from yourself and others. Learn to accept uncontrollable circumstances. Let go of the past and activate a new you. Overcome blockages on your way towards your newfound freedom after attending this life-changing presentation. After this program, you will be able to learn the difference between using logic and intuition, understand how your belief systems influence your authenticity. Learn the importance of balancing your light and dark psyche. Use mental and emotional coping techniques to transcend traumas and pain to start the healing process. Gaining self-acceptance to heal through self-talk and expression. My second signature program is lifestyle-based healing. This life-building and knowledge-based program is designed to help you succeed in the next phase of transformational growth during these changing times to enhance your development. In this session, you will learn how to tap into your natural survival resources and following the intuitive influences that open your eyes to new pathways of living, achieve greater results, and supercharge your mission by creating a new lifestyle. You will come to understand how to discipline your body, your mind, and spirit to prepare the unexpected and expected changes in your life, inside and out. Inspire others to do the same. Become efficient and improve functionality after this enlightening presentation. After this program, you will be able to learn what your limits are towards change, learn how to replace unwanted habits with better practices, identify your stress triggers and traumas to make changes, and self-heal. Learn about inner and outside influences that affect your lifestyle. Understand how good health practices establishes great wealth to enhance a certain lifestyle. Learn the importance of your survival and creating your new life and what it takes to sustain a new lifestyle. Expose your toxicities before incorporating new lifestyle changes. Now, this third signature program is my communication-based healing. This mind-enriching session will teach you how to express and communicate your thoughts and feelings. Demonstrate many ways to communicate your subconscious mind to gain control of your life. The strategies in this portion of the program will fine-tune your communication skills within these changing times by using your childlike imagination to promote healing and find your confidence to better express yourself. Learn how to analyze the communication style of others, which better helps with understanding how to communicate. So after this presentation, you will be able to achieve a life of mastery that is limitless. So after this program, you will be able to learn to listen to your true voice, to break your own hypnotic spell, learn importance of self-talk, creatively express your imagination to welcome in the healing process, learn and understand different communication styles, find out how to communicate commands to your subconscious mind to create change. Now, this last signature program is community-based healing. This approach into the community dynamics during these times of change will alter your reality to identify patterns in situations and know when to seek solutions. Learn the positives and negatives of comparisons and judgments that are used within your environment or community. Learn tactics to break away from the trends within your environment and community that are presently not realized as mind control tools. Learn manifestations for your ideal environment or community, which can influence and become impressionable to others. Before this presentation ends, it will empower your every move. So after this program, you will be able to understand how to manifest your needs and wants, recognizing patterns that will create solutions for a better change, learn how to recognize individuals of bad or good influence in your space, understand how making peace with yourself can become a masterpiece for an ideal community, create better habits and practices that will help you attain the peace you so desire, and design and create a space that cannot be compared to others. I would like to thank you for taking time out in your busy day and joining me or sitting with me in learning more about my signature programs. As I always tell others, I am not here to make you think like me. I just want you to think. Again, thank you and have a great rest of your day.